To the little details, the fading smile of his daughter, the way she clung to him longer whenever he left for work, the silent tears she wiped away when no one was watching. Success had kept him busy. Meetings had stolen his time. And trust in the wrong person had cost his children their safety. Life had not always been easy for the little girl. She had lost her mother at a tender age. It was a bright afternoon, the kind of day when sunlight poured through the tall windows of the suburban mansion, casting long beams across the polished wooden floors. Yet, inside the walls of that home, no warmth could be felt. A little girl, no older than 6, clutched her baby brother tightly in her arms, tears streaking her small face as her sobs echoed in the silent kitchen. Milk spilled across the tiles. A broken bottle lay nearby, and her frightened whispers trembled in the air. "Please, Mommy, don't hurt us." The world outside carried on in peace. But in that moment, inside that house, fear was all that existed. Seconds later, the heavy sound of the front door opening broke the tense silence, and in stepped her father, a man of immense wealth, dressed in a sharp suit, briefcase in hand, never expecting to witness the scene that would shatter his heart forever. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of love to heal broken hearts, please take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps us spread more stories that touch souls and remind the world of the goodness that still exists. The man was not just any father. He was a millionaire, a man who had built his fortune from the ground up, admired in the city for his business empire and generosity. But in that instant, none of his wealth mattered. All he saw was his daughter crumpled on the floor, protecting her infant sibling from the harsh anger of a woman who was supposed to love them, his new wife. The home that was meant to be a sanctuary had become a place of shadows. For months, he had been blind, and though her father did everything to shield her from pain, he too was drowning in grief. When he remarried, he thought he was giving his daughter and newborn son a chance at a complete family. But behind closed doors, his new wife carried resentment, envy, and coldness that no child should ever endure. She looked at the children not as gifts, but as burdens. And every small mistake became an excuse to unleash her cruelty. The spilled milk on the kitchen floor that day was nothing more than an accident. Yet, it became the spark that revealed the truth. As the father stood frozen at the door, the image burned into his soul, his daughter trembling, shielding her brother, begging not to be hurt. His heart cracked in ways he could not explain. The weight of his fortune felt worthless compared to the priceless innocence of his children that had been scarred. He rushed forward, his voice thundering through the halls, breaking the chains of silence that had bound his daughter in fear. The woman, startled by his sudden presence, dropped the bottle from her hand. For the first time, she realized she could no longer hide. The walls of wealth and status that once shielded her cruelty had crumbled in a matter of seconds. In the days that followed, everything changed. The millionaire did not think about business meetings or the deals waiting on his desk. His only focus became his children. He held his daughter close, listened to her broken whispers, and promised her that she would never be left alone in fear again. He cradled his infant son, vowing to protect him with every fiber of his being. The mansion that once echoed with silence and hidden cries slowly transformed into a home of healing. Therapists were brought in, gentle routines were created, and every night ended with the reassurance of love. The man who once measured success by numbers and contracts now measured it by the smiles slowly returning to his daughter's face. Yet healing was not instant. There were nights when the little girl would still wake up crying, clutching her brother tightly. There were days when she flinched at sudden sounds. But her father was there each and every time, holding her hand, reminding her she was safe. He learned that wealth could buy many things, but the most valuable gift he could give his children was his time, his presence, and his unconditional love. The world outside still admired him as a millionaire. But within those walls, he became something far more important, a father who fought for his children's peace. As months turned into a year, the little girl began to laugh again, her eyes sparkling with the kind of joy that had once been stolen from her. Her baby brother grew surrounded by warmth, shielded by a father who had learned the true meaning of protection. And though the scars of the past would always remain, they became reminders not of weakness, but of survival. The family rebuilt itself, not with bricks or riches, but with trust, compassion, and the strength of second chances. And so, in the glow of another sunny afternoon, the little girl no longer whispered in fear, but laughed as she played in the garden with her father watching proudly. The mansion was no longer a house of silence. It had become a home again. If this story touched your heart, please support Kindness Corner by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that no matter how dark life becomes, love and kindness can always bring the light back. Special request before you go, please leave a comment below and tell us what you felt while watching this story. Did it remind you of the power of family, of second chances, or of the courage it takes to protect the ones we love? Your words matter, and we'd love to hear them. Sometimes the most painful stories remind us of the deepest truths. Who. This was not just a tale of a crying little girl begging for safety. It was a reminder that innocence is fragile, and that the responsibility to protect it lies in the hands of those who love us. Recognition we receive. But what truly defines us is how we treat those who cannot defend themselves, especially children whose voices are soft, yet whose hearts carry the heaviest burdens when neglected. The father in this story was a man of great riches. But it wasn't his wealth that saved his children. It was his realization, his courage, and his decision to stand firm in love. In the moment he walked into his home and saw his daughter's tears, he learned the most valuable lesson of all. Money may build walls, but love builds a home. The world often hides behind masks. And sometimes the people we trust the most can betray us. Yet in that brokenness, there is always a chance for redemption, always an opportunity to heal and begin again. For anyone watching this, let the story remind you that kindness is never wasted. A gentle word, a listening ear, a protective embrace, these are the treasures that last forever. No matter how dark the moment may seem, light always finds its way back, when love is chosen over anger, when compassion overcomes cruelty. If this story touched your heart today, share it with someone who might need hope. And always remember, the greatest gift you can give another person is not riches or possessions, but your time, your kindness, and your love.